What is good, Double Leg fam? This is the members only exclusive show. I'm running this solo tonight. Nolan's out traveling. So we're going to go through the bets on my card and I'm going to go through the bets on his card and give you a little insight of why we took them. That is part of the Double Leg Premium. If you are not in that, go ahead and get in on that. The link will be down in the description below. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. Got 11 fights left on the card, but without any further ado, we'll go from the main event down. And if we have any action on the fight, we'll go through it. Starting with the main event, Jelton Almeida and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. The only play I got on this one, I got two plays actually, straight up. So I got Almeida by KO at plus 200 for a half a unit. I just think the ground and pound for the value of plus 200, 2-1. I think that's good enough for me to take a play on Almeida if he can get it there. And then a little bit of a hedge somewhat with Rozenstruik round one at plus 1200 for 0.2 units. So basically, not too invested straight up there in the main event because the money line is just way too wide. And if you're gonna bet Jairzinho, it's probably round one or two KO, and that's exactly what Nolan took too. He's got round one KO plus 900.1 units, and round two KO plus 1600 for 0.1 units, and that is all he's got on that one. He does have a parlay with that fight to not start round three, but I'll go through that parlay once it's all finished. But that's all we got for the main event straight up. I got some no house advantage plays in the main event as well, but we will go over that at the end of the main card. The co-main event is Johnny Walker and Anthony Smith. And in this one, me and Nolan are both on Johnny Walker. So we're both liking the explosiveness of Johnny Walker. In this one, I got Walker money line at plus 100, so even money for a unit. And then I got a quarter of a unit on Walker round one KO at plus 300. So I think he's just got a little bit more momentum coming into this one, and he should be able to find the finish. I think Anthony Smith's had so many fights in his career that maybe that starts to show a little bit. And Johnny Walker hits like a truck. I also got the under 2.5 in that one in a parlay, which I'll complete in the next fight or two fights after this. But I think that fight goes under for sure. I actually have the under 1.5 just straight up at minus 130 for 0.13 unit or 1.3 units. Minus 130 at 1.3 units. So I think it's violence. I think Johnny Walker could get finished. I don't think he's going to, but I think it's possible. Even money, I like the 50-50 on Johnny Walker to get the finish as well. But we got the under 1.5 there. Anthony Smith is solid on the ground. And wherever this fight goes, I think the finish is always live. Looking at Nolan's bets, he's got Johnny Walker on the money line plus 100 for 1.5 units as well. So he's big on Johnny Walker, just like I am. Also forgot in the main event, he's got Almeida by KO. So basically same thing, plus 220 for a half a unit. So we're both on the same side there. We go to Daniel Rodriguez and Ian Gary. I got Daniel Rodriguez on the money line at plus 275 for a half a unit. I just think he's getting undervalued in this spot. I think Ian Gary is maybe a little overhyped. I think maybe a little overconfident going into this one. And I think Daniel Rodriguez, with the right game plan, can get a win. I think it's closer to a 60-40, even a 50-50 type fight. I don't think Ian Gary is that much better than Daniel Rodriguez. So I'll take him a little bit on the money line there. And then I think his best or the most likely path to victory is by decision, just out voluming. So I got him at plus 500 for a quarter of a unit as well. So only 0.75 units invested in Daniel Rodriguez. So not like crazy, but he's a solid dog. So 0.75 is a decent investment there, if you were to ask me. Look at Nolan's bets. He doesn't have anything in that fight. I missed another one. He's got Anthony Smith by KO at plus 310 for point 0.2 units. So a bit of a hedge there on his Johnny Walker bet uh in the co-main event there. But we'll keep it moving. And we'll go to Carlos Olberg and Ihor Potieria. I the only thing I got in this one is the under 2.5, and that's parlayed with the under 2.5 of Johnny Walker and Anthony Smith at minus 134 for a unit. So that's just a violence parlay. I'd be shocked if any or if either of those fights make it the distance. Both guys or both fights, both guys have finishing ability, and both guys are down to throw down. So I think it has got violence all written all over it, and hopefully we can cash that one. Look at Nolan's bets. He's got Carlos Olberg in a parlay with Carl Williams and the Almeida Jairzinho Rozenstruik fight not to start round 3 at minus 103 for a half unit. So a little parlay or a little bankroll builder there from what I'm picking up that he's putting down. We look at the NHA because this is not the end of the main card, but that's the end of the fights that we're in on the main card. NHA plays this week. This one was put in, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. So I got it out right away when I put it in. Under 7.5 minutes of fight time for Johnny Walker and over 14.5 minutes of fight time for Ian Gary. Pair those together, 3.2x for a unit. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they took it away completely, but last time I checked, the Ian Gary fight time was gone because I think it just got bumped all the way up because it's so heavily favored to go over. So I think they just scratched it completely. And then the under 7.5 minutes of fight time got bumped down to 6.5 minutes of fight time. I'd probably still play it, but obviously at 7.5, like you're getting a lot more value there. The second NHA play, under 32.5 significant strikes for Johnny Walker and under 1.5 takedowns for Jilton Almeida. Pair those together, 3.2x for a unit. We're going basically kind of an alternate under to the fight time for Johnny Walker. I don't think he gets that many shots off on Anthony Smith. He's not a big volume guy. He throws hard and he throws with intentions. And Anthony Smith could get him to the ground where he's not able to hit any kind of shots on the ground. So I like the under 2 with the significant strikes, and then the under 1.5 takedowns for Almeida. I think if he gets Jairzinho down in the first round, I don't think he gets up, and he should be able to finish him within 5 minutes. Because in all reality, Almeida's going to shoot within the first, 15, 30 seconds of the fight. That's what he does. And Jairzinho could catch him on his way in. But if Almeida gets him down, I don't see him getting back up. Like his up game is not very good, and Almeida's got great top pressure, and he could find a submission or a ground and pound right away, and just do work, just wear on him, because Biggie Boy looked big today, so it's gonna be tough to get up. Tim Means, Alex Morono. I only got Alex Morono by decision plus 160 for a half a unit. And I can't say I really liked how he looked on the scales today, but I do think he'll be ready to go come tomorrow. I just think he's got the better volume. He's at a better spot in his career in this one. In all likelihood, he's going to take Tim Means to decision. Plus 160, he's a minus 200 favorite. I think that's good enough for me. Like Morono's not a heavy hitter. Tim Means fairly durable. So I'll take that plus 160 for a half a unit all day. Nolan, I don't think Nolan's got anything on that one. If we look at Matt Brown, Court McGee, this is a fight that Nolan does have something on. He's got Matt Brown plus 190 for a unit. And I wanted to get there with him, but I just ultimately didn't because of the age and for Matt Brown. But I do think he's being undervalued in this spot at plus 190. Like that's some solid value against Court McGee, where I think it's closer to a 50-50. It's kind of like the Ian Gary fight, in my opinion. Like both guys are pretty similar, and I don't think they should be that big of favorites. I definitely see where he's coming from in that one. He's got Matt Brown money line. I don't have anything on that fight, I don't believe. Kick back and watch it. A couple of legends, so doesn't really need anything for me to get invested in that one. Carl Williams, Chase Sherman. In this one, I got Carl Williams by decision because I think he could end up not necessarily gassing out, but we saw it in the Dresky fight where he's super explosive when the fight starts, and then he kind of just has to hold on to you for a while. So I think it could be a similar situation here. Like Dresky and Chase Sherman are pretty similar fighters. Like love to pump the volume, though not like big power on the feet, and they're not great with their takedown defense. Decent get up game, but I think Carl Williams could just wear on him for 3 rounds. Plus 200 for a guy that's like damn near minus 400. And Chase Sherman's pretty durable. Like he'll get subbed on the ground, but he's not like it takes him a lot for him to get ground and pounded out of there. So Williams doesn't have any wins by sub. Now that I say that, he's probably going to sub him, but he does have 5 wins by decision. So plus 200, sign me up for that. But could always be the time that he gets a decision. But I think at plus 200, I'm down for it. I'm definitely down for it. Nolan, like I said earlier, he's got Carl Williams in the parlay, little bank roll builder. And I got a little prop on Carl Williams over 3 takedowns. Chase Sherman gets taken down fairly easily, but he gets up. And I think at 3 takedowns, Carl Williams does not have the stand up to deal with Chase Sherman. Like Chase Sherman's a solid boxer, not a lot of power, but we know Carl Williams is going to want to take him down, and that's his path to victory. And he can get takedowns on Chase Sherman. It's just going to be a matter of fact if Chase Sherman can survive. I think like Carl Williams, the fight is not favored to go the distance, but it's favored like 10, between 10 and 15 minutes, somewhere in there. So I mean the the under 2.5 is like a little bit favored. So you're going to get about 10 minutes of fight time. I think he can get at least 3. So at the very worst, we're going to push with Carl Williams, barring any, first or second round finish. Oh, keep her moving here. Cody Stamen, Douglas Silva de Andrade. I got a little sprinkle on my guy, de Andrade, plus 145 for a half unit. Not that confident in it, I'm not going to lie, because Cody Stamen's been fairly durable. But, with how I didn't like his last performance, like Silva de Andrade hits like a truck. And I could see a world where the judges, if Andrade doesn't finish him, I could see a world where the judges will reward him for how hard he throws if he can land and doesn't get taken down. So I'll take a little stab on him, plus 145 for a half unit. But that is all I got. Or actually, no, I got the under 2.5 in that fight as well at plus 165 for a half unit. I think that's just too much with these guys. Like both guys have solid finishing ability, and Andrade is getting up there in age to where that could definitely start to wear on him. And Andrade has big finishing ability, so he's definitely live to get the finish, and I think he's live to get finished as well at this point in his career. Look at Nolan's plays. He's got Cody Stamen on the money line, minus 130 for 1.3 units. So he's on the Stamen side. I know he was on that earlier in the week as well, and I could definitely see it. I mean, Cody Stamen's been fighting the top tier of the bantamweight division, and then had a couple of fights to get him back on track, and now he's getting another solid opponent here. So I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it, and I honestly might throw him in a parlay for tomorrow as well, just because in all reality he should win. It's obviously favorite. Gion Kim, Mandy Bohm. I got nothing on this one, man. I just couldn't get invested in any way, and I don't think Nolan does either. Yeah, no, this was one that you go take a bathroom break. I'm sorry, but that's what you got to do in this one. Gabe Green, Brian Battle. Should be a decent fight here. Nolan's got Gabe Green on the money line minus 130 for 1.3 units. I know he said in the Discord that this is, a numbers play because if you look at where the money's at, a lot of it is on Brian Battle as an underdog. I believe it's like between 75 and 80% of the money is on Brian Battle as the underdog. So I could definitely see where he's coming from there, taking a stab on the favorite at minus 130. It's got the better UFC experience as well. Brian Battle did miss weight today as well. So yeah, I could see where he's coming from there. I couldn't get to it myself because I think Brian Battle, I don't really know what to think of Brian Battle. Like his fights in the UFC have been so up and down. Like the Fakhretdinov loss, he got dominated. But at the same time, we don't know how good Fakhretdinov is. He had the head kick KO to Takashi Sato, and then a couple wins against guys that I just don't think are that good. So I don't really have a good read on him. So I didn't play anything as far as a side there. I did take Gabe Green over one takedown because Ryan Battle's takedown defense has been atrocious, like absolutely terrible. I mean, he gets taken down. He's been taken down in every fight except the Takashi Sato fight. And Gabe Green, I think with the size of Brian Battle, Gabe Green being the smaller guy, he's always a pressure fighter. And if he can't find the range against the taller guy in Brian Battle, he's going to want to take it to the ground. I think at the very worst, this fight is favored to go the distance too. So you're probably getting 15 minutes of fight time in there. At worst, I think he gets one takedown. So at worst, we're going to push. If he gets two, we obviously cash it. But 15 minutes in there, I would find it very hard to believe Gabe Green doesn't go for a takedown. And with how bad Brian Battle's defense has been in the UFC, I think he should be able to get at least one. We just can't get an early finish in there. First fight of the night, Jessica Rose Clark, Tainara Lisboa. I ended up going with Lisboa money line minus 120 for 0.75 units. I think she's going to be better on the feet. Obviously, Muay Thai champion. But I also think she's, got a little bit more to fight for. I don't think Jessica Rose Clark being 35 coming in here, I think it's kind of just like a fun fight for her. I don't really think she needs to, not necessarily like she needs to win, but like I don't think she has much to fight for. I mean, she's 35. Let's say she wins and she wants to get re-signed. Like at that point, what are you really fighting for too? So Lisboa making her debut, she probably wants to put on a great performance. And she's been in the sport, in combat sports for a long time. So she's got a lot of experience in combat sports, not as much MMA. But I'll take the shot on her at minus 120 on the money line. And then we got the prize picks props. We got two on Jessica Rose Clark. And these are I like these. I think if she's smart, like this is if Jessica Rose Clark is smart and fights how she should fight, these should hit easily. But we're going over 1.5 takedowns for Jessica Rose Clark. She can get the takedowns. Lisboa is the Muay Thai fighter. Like I don't think Jessica wants to stand with her. Like she's gonna have to go out there and get takedowns and mix in her wrestling. If she doesn't, I think she's gonna lose. So that's part of like why I took Lisboa money line. Because if she doesn't wrestle, then if Rose Clark doesn't get the takedowns, like Lisboa is probably gonna win. So we'll take the over 1.5 takedowns for Rose Clark there. Pair that up with Carl Williams over 3 takedowns. Power play there at 3x for a unit. Second one, we took the over one takedown for Gabe Green. We're going to pair that up with under 57.5 significant strikes for Jessica Rose Clark. 3x for a unit there. So same reasoning. She's going to have to take her to the ground. Think she's going to be at a speed disadvantage on the feet as well. And I don't see her being able to put up those kind of numbers going in, even if it's a 3 round fight. Like she hasn't really put up big numbers in 3 round fights. And if she's going to be working that clinch and that takedown, those strike numbers are just, they're not going to rack up like that. So that's all we got. That's 11 fights. We lost the Pete Rodriguez Natan Levy fight. So we're down to 11, but early start time tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. But hopefully we can cash some tickets. Thank you all for the support. If you're watching this before, good luck. If you're watching this after, hopefully we cash some tickets and you can get in on the double leg premium so you can watch this show before the fights happen next week with the link down in the description. Hey, Jive Picks going solo today with the exclusive show, the double leg signing out. We'll see.